Yo, what's poppin', gamers? Real Alpha Gamer here, also known as WQ. Guys, I started up my project a few days ago. I'm trying to get every single A Link to the Past world record in the A Link to the Past universe. We're trying to get every single one. And I started that project a few days ago, and I made a pretty convenient spreadsheet on what exactly is going on. So we're going to go into that spreadsheet, look at that spreadsheet, and then look at some of the runs I did earlier today. Now, gamers, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that follow button. Guys, make sure to comment and like this video too if you want to join the Real Alpha Gaming family. And if you want to join the journey of trying to get every single possible Link to the Past world record in the Link to the Past universe, let's look at this, guys. Let's break this down. All right, gamers. So this is my spreadsheet, and I actually am tracking all of my PBs unintentionally. You'll see it's color-coded. If it's green the whole way through, obviously I have the world record. If it's red right here and then green and then red, what that means is I don't have the world record, but I did PB in it. And if it's gray, then it's never been attempted. It's never been done. So some categories like Master Sword, Out of Bounds, it is a category, don't have the world record, but I did do a run. Now there's other categories like All Bosses, No Exploration Glitch. I've never done a run in, so it's gray, and I don't have the world record. Now there's even more categories, such as Goddess of Wisdom 100%, where there is no world record, and I've never done a run, but I still don't have the world record. So I tallied up all the runs, and I have 31 world records out of 76 goal categories. So you'll notice I actually have already 31 world records. Yeah, the reason this project is actually possible and is feasible is because I've been speedrunning Link to the Past for a while now. I actually already have a lot of these world records, and a lot of the hardest records I already have, like Master Sword and any percent no saving quit and Cane of Burna. But a lot of the records I don't have are mostly the glitched records for regular Link to the Past, and then a lot of really arbitrary stuff like these categories are all super arbitrary, and then some ROM hacks like BS Zelda, Goddess of Wisdom, and Parallel Worlds, and like One Hit KO. I don't have any of those world records, so over time I'm going to add more world records to this, and I'm going to keep updating this as we try to get all the world records in the Link to the Past universe. Hopefully it takes a year, less than a year, that'd be nice, but it might take 2 or 3 years, who knows. It's going to be pretty epic stream content. But guys, let's go into what I was streaming today. I was actually playing this category right here, Parallel Worlds, and I actually got a new PB in that today, so let's update that right now. Yo gamers, I'm back, Deb. Gamers, let's go. So Parallel Worlds is a very interesting run. Let's get into this run. Now gamers, this is my stream archive broadcast. I just put my webcam on it, so you're missing my face, but you have my face in replace. All right, let's get to the start of this run. So I did 3 runs today. 2 of them died and wasn't able to finish them. The third run was actually a major PB, and you're looking at a spoiler of it right now. Okay, gamers, this was the first run, and if you're looking at the run, you can tell it was pretty good. We had 0.1 second lead in Sword. Guardhouse plus 1 second. That's really good. I actually did some practice last night, and I found several strategy upgrades in my run yesterday. So let's go over some of those. Okay, this was the first one, and this strategy is really interesting. These spikes at the bottom, right here, you can actually skip through these spikes by taking damage and going through them. But if you just walk into the spikes, you're never going to get through them. You have to take damage in a very specific way. If Link's walking forward into a spike, he'll get deboosted backwards. If he's walking diagonally facing the spike, he's going to get damage boosted the opposite direction he's going, that's not towards the spike, if he's on the left or right face of the spike. So that's really confusing. Let's create an illustration to try and organize this better. Okay, we're on paint.net. So if there's a spike right here and we have Link, and Link walks into the spike head on, he gets deboosted backwards, right? I think that one's pretty obvious. Now, if Link is walking diagonally into the spike, he can be facing down or he can be facing left, right? If he's walking diagonally into the spike and he's facing towards the spike right here, and he's on the better half of the spike, then he's going to be knocked this direction, straight up. So what that means is that on this spike deboost, if we specifically walk into spikes like this, we can actually get across them. So right here, what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be walking left diagonally, or facing left, walking diagonally in it, and I'm going to get deboosted down. So let's watch this in slow motion. Right here, I turn diagonal and I get deboosted straight down. Now that's really important because when you get damage boosted down, it means that you can now slide under the spike. So let's walk. So right here, I'm walking left, and now I hit diagonal. And actually, I learned there's a very convenient visual cue for this. If you look at this spike right here, this line, right when you touch this line or go past this line, you want to hit diagonal. Now, I tested this quite a bit. If you hit the bottom of the spike and you're going diagonal, you actually get sent, I think, backwards or up. You don't get sent down. If I have to hit the top of the spike. So if I use this line and aim really high for the spike, I'm never going to hit this top spike because of how this game's on a square grid. And it gets set directly down. Now you'll also notice, if you paid really close attention there, when I hit the spike right here, wait a minute. Yeah, so when I hit the spike, wait a minute. Okay, when I hit the spike, I move left. I think that's because I moved left anyway. But that's how you get under the spike. But yeah, that actually, if you then hold down left, you have to hold up left until you hit the spike and then immediately switch to down left. You can actually walk past these spikes. Really important strategy, and we'll see why later on. There's another spike skip right here, and again, you want to use these lines on the wall. So right here is the one I use. Right when my hair goes past this line, I hit diagonal. I'll hit the bottom of the spike, and then I'll get sent up, and I can just walk past the spike. So pretty convenient trick right there. I actually practiced that last night, and it helped my run a lot. Okay, this run is pretty good. We're plus 33 at the bracelet, which in my opinion is fine. Now you'll notice I'm not moving. I actually took a bathroom break in the middle of my run. It didn't really affect it too much though. Yeah, I was only plus 3 minutes at the Draegr fight, and this fight, it kind of make or break my runs right now. This fight's incredibly hard if you're just looking at the map. Yes, there actually are this many projectiles on this screen, and you have 4 hearts. Everything is a heart of damage except for the blue ball projectiles. You also have the dodges lining. This fight's insane. Like, I knew this fight was hard, but I didn't think it was this insane. I think this is actually the hardest fight in Parallel Worlds, at least of all the fights and all the runes I've done. This is by far the hardest fight. Now, I practiced this fight last night a lot, and it's going so much better for me. Look at this. I actually have a formula down that's pretty reliable. I only got hit once there, but I have a pretty reliable, pretty consistent formula down, and I'm actually able to do this fight with some consistency. Now, my PB, this segment was 15 minutes long. So, looks like I actually died there. And I had a fairy, fortunately. Now, one of my goals was to not drop fairy and drop bottle, because I'm trying to get the world record in this. My PB right of this run is a 127.30. And world record's a 119, so I really need to drop fairies and bottles in order to get world record. Well, this run, we saved a bunch of time on Draegr, and I continue to save time through the rest of the run. I was minus 9.5 minutes at some point, which is really good. And then once you get out of Parallel Tower is an incredibly long segment. One big problem I ran into in Parallel Tower, though, I was out of bombs. I literally walked into the wall at Parallel Tower, and there were no bombs, and I had nothing to do. I actually had to reset my run. This game, Parallel Worlds, is so punishing that if you go into Dark World with no bombs, your run's pretty much over. There's no bombs in Parallel Tower. You can't get back to Light World. Like, there's no good place I can really get bombed. So I pretty much had to reset being minus 10 minutes. So my second run was even better. I had a gold sword segment, and I was minus 5 seconds in guardhouse. And this run was pretty good. Yeah, this run, I was minus 40 seconds at the end of this segment, and we'll see in about a minute. Now, this segment was huge for me, because if you look at the bottom of my splits, right here, it says plus 20. Right, I'm actually plus 20 on the current world record for this. I'm pretty new to Parallel Worlds, and already getting some decent runs that are close to world record. I was pretty excited. So this run, I was like, wow, this is a good run. And it continued to get good until we'll see at Draegr. Also, guys, really fun fact. If you go into this cave and your name is TOTT, you actually get the Ice Rod and the Fire Rod for free, which is nuts. Like, why would your name have to be TOTT to get the fire rod and ice rod early on for free. But that's why my name is TOTT on these cutscenes. Anyway, here's the huge time save. That's nuts, dude. I immediately went to 3 hearts in the Draegr fight, and then I immediately went to about half a heart. So I was almost about to lose my run. Like, my run was really close to just straight up being completely over. And look at that incredible miss. Yeah, this fight is absolutely nuts. Like, I think just doing this fight is like you know what? I think if you have strategies, this fight is a lot easier, but this fight is insane. Like, I think being able to do this fight really marks you as a good parallel worlds runner. But yeah, I got hit right here and again right here, and I barely had any HP, and I was able to barely clutch this out. Look at the timer. This is 5 minutes and 55 seconds. It was literally a minute 30 after that point that I was able to kill him, and I freaked out when this happened. Now, gamers, if you thought that Draegr fight was nuts, the Ganon fight's pretty much as nuts in this game. Basically, you have to do Ganon twice, and the second time you do it, he has twice as much HP. Now, you have the lowest upgraded sword, so it takes 24 spins on Ganon to go out of this phase. And this is just one of the 4 phases. The only way you can get these spins is lighting both torches, and then you get 3 spins per cycle here. So this takes forever to actually kill Ganon, and the fight ends up being about 7 minutes long. Well, during this run, I actually died to Ganon. I actually messed up here, and we're gonna see I actually died to Ganon. So I tried getting up in here, and when you're in this position, you can actually get two sword spins on Ganon, and I accidentally messed up, and I barely touched the fire, and I died. And this fight is just crazy how tight it is and how much things you have to balance. Getting in that position can save about 30 seconds, so it's pretty important to be able to do that. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to PB this run. In fact, I don't even think I finished this run. My third run of the day was pretty good. We got an 838 sword, which is really solid. And then I got a 1444 guardhouse, which is pretty good for me. And I think it's actually my best run ever. Now, this split, Nehru's Bay, I actually died on earlier, and I ended up losing a ton of time. Yeah, right here when you're going down in the waterway, these water skidders, they're pretty rough. They can pretty much manhandle you, and there's not a lot you can do about it. Then in Din's Catacombs, I actually died 2 times to the landmos. And this kind of sucks because when you die in Din's Catacombs, you have to do this fight all over again. And this fight's pretty brutal. The only nice thing about it is that you have this dashing mechanic in Parallel Worlds where you can change directions when you dash. So that's like the only forgiving thing about it. But other than that, it's pretty brutal and unrelentless. But I continue the run, and I got a gold ice rod segment and a gold Draegr fight. This run was nuts from this point on. I actually ended up getting a gold parallel tower, even though, look at this mistake. So I'm like confused right now, like, why did the door open? Well, I forgot to light this torch, and the way this tower is designed, if you don't light all these torches on a very specific cycle, you actually can't get out of that room. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it properly. So there's the first torch. There's the second torch. You got to go through this maze, and then we're going to light torch 3 and 4. Now look at how little time you have after you light this. So right there was when the torch ended. So I had this distance from right here to right here. Had that much extra time, so you have to do that torch puzzle pretty quickly. Now what's nuts is that mistake costed about 50 seconds, and this was actually a gold parallel tower, which like blows my mind. I thought my gold was pretty decent, but somehow I beat it by 20 seconds with like a minute mistake. Like, that's crazy to me. But that also definitely puts me at world record level for this game. The only thing I don't have in order to get a world record is a few strategies on Ganon and then some run connectivity stuff. Like, I need to do more runs. So in a few more runs, a few days from now, I should be able to get the world record really close for Parallel Worlds any percent. This run for me actually PB'd by 11 minutes, over 11 minutes, which is really cool. Now, I lost time on Ganon, but I also suicided twice on Ganon to restore my HP. So it was kind of intentional. And every other split was gold or about tied gold. Also on this run, which is my PB, I died earlier 2 times. So this run is going to be pretty easy to improve. I'm really hoping we can get some good runs tomorrow and I can PB tomorrow. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video. Make sure you have a really great day, gamers. We're going to do big things. We're trying to get every world record, and we're starting off Parallel Worlds. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey, 115, 114 even, PB'd. Right on. I lost a lot of time on this, too. Great art run. Yeah, it's sweet, dude. My first run that was like, you know, sort of close to good, you know. I wouldn't quite say this one's good yet, but we're getting there.